How's it going, guys? Randall aka Shizakats here on the Tressa's Collectibles channel to bring you our deck profile for BanG 10th Anniversary Premium Booster. Even though this set mainly supports Anniversary and band-specific decks, there are a lot of powerful new profiles in the set that allow Anniversary builds to reach new heights. Let's get started by talking about some similarities and differences between our previous build from 5th Anni and our current version. On your screen now is our previous build of Anniversary from a few years back. The overall color structure between the two decks is going to pretty much remain the same, with red and blue as our main colors, and green and yellow as small splashes in the level 0 line. Aya Brainstorm, one of Toko Brainstorm, and Misaki Global Support will return as our back row of choice, giving us a green and yellow character to camp in our back row, and allow us to utilize the level 1 Maya to greater effectiveness. You'll want an Aya Brainstorm plus one of the two yellow characters in your back row pretty much always. However, where our new deck differs is in its combos. Compared to the Yukina level 1 and Kasumi level 3 in our previous build, we're going to be using the brand new Sayo level 1 and Kasumi level 2 into a Climax combo-less endgame. Sayo swings for 6500 without Climax and 7500 with Climax, and on attack by discarding a card, you can top check up to 3 and add an Anniversary or Roselia character from among them to your hand and send the rest to the waiting room twice. Compared to the Yukina level 1, this combo isn't reliant on reversing a battle opponent and also gives the build immense deck speed, although at the cost of selectivity, since you're just digging through the top cards of your deck. Additionally, having Sayo as a blue combo rather than red makes it a bit harder for the deck to play Maya level 1 with all 4 colors on board, but it's also much easier to actually manage your colors at level 1 since the level 1 game is entirely blue. Upon reaching level 2, we have a second advantage combo to utilize in the new level 2 Kasumi. This card is functionally identical to Alice from Sword Art Online Anniversary, capping out at 10k power with a full board, and on Climax placement, if this card is in the front row and you have a full board of properly traded characters, you get to salvage a character from the waiting room to hand and stock a character from the waiting room as well. This basically allows Kasumi to refund her own cost while salvaging a new option from the waiting room, which will usually be a counter to defend herself, or a character to set up for future turns. Ideally, we'll be able to develop multiple of these Kasumis upon hitting level 2, and keep them around to get a massive amount of stock in hand with multiple turns of combo in a row. Despite the deck not having a finisher Climax combo anymore, our endgame is still pretty strong. One of the newest star players is the Remi level 3, which is pretty much a carbon copy of the Shion level 3 from Tensura Volume 3. Shion is a fantastic off-climax finisher option in Mjurran decks, which have historically been played mostly as a level 1 and level 2 combo deck, like the one we've built for BanG. With our Remi level 3, alongside the Tae early play healer that we played previously, we have a solid lineup of burns that we can spend our accumulated resources on. Now, on to the rest of the deck. Yukina JC returns as one of our main plussing level 0s, as well as our main source of red, not only for leveling, but also to get a top check 4 with Maya pre-level 2. She can reach up to 4k power on your own turn if you play 2 characters after her, allowing her to beat over most opposing level 0s with ease, and her JC effect will let you recycle characters for future use. Our other 2 main plussing level 0s are newcomers from the Premium Booster. Tomoe is a carbon copy of Black Panther, which is an extremely strong card in Marvel, but it probably won't be as familiar to English-only players. She gets to be 3k power by default, so she already has a vanilla stat line, but on top of that, when your opponent front attacks her, if you take the incoming damage, she gets an additional 1500 power, bringing her up to 4500. This card can be an absolute menace as a result, since the opponent doesn't know if she's going to be 3k or 4500 when they attack into her. On top of that, she has another ability when she reverses a battle opponent, salvaging a character and discarding a card, and this works on either player's turn, so if you beat over your opponent's character, then you get to use the effect, and if they attack thinking that they can beat your 3k power and suddenly you become 4500, well, you get to use the effect again. This is a mandatory effect though, so try not to wind up in situations where you have nothing in waiting room to salvage, otherwise you'll be forced to discard a card for fun. However, in all other cases, this is a fantastic bonus hand fix that can help you give the deck some selectivity where the Sayo level 1 combo doesn't. We also have a shiny new Riki in the Mashiro level 0, replacing the On Death Mocha Riki that we used previously. She also gains 2000 power on play if you hit the top check. As with any Riki, this is a great way to secure important early game cards like additional copies of your level 1 advantage combo, or a Brainstorm if you don't already have one secured. These 3 level 0s make up our trinity of powerful early game advantage cards that we will want to see in every early game. We also have the new Yukina Chiyuri. This card doesn't have as much value for hand fixing or deck speed when we're at level 1, since the Sayo can go through so much of the deck by herself while also discarding a card as part of her cost. However, outside of level 1, this card can be used to great effect. When drawn in the early game, this can help fix up our hand before going to level 1, and then contributes to deck speed if needed at level 2 and later, alongside other mill options such as the Maya level 1. Our final new addition to the level 0 line is the Tsugumi Climax Swap, which is one of the many new Climax Swap options available from the Premium Booster. Her secondary ability is On Play Hand to Stock, which can be extremely useful in situations where your level 2 Kasumi board is able to live for multiple turns. Since back-to-back turns of combo will often result in having an excess of hand, this Tsugumi will allow you to convert that into stock that you can use for the Climax Swap effect. Just like with any hand-to-stock effect, I would advise against using it unless you absolutely need the stock for something like an endgame finisher turn, or you simply have an abundance of cards in hand like the aforementioned Kasumi combo scenario. At level 1, apart from our Sayo combos and Maya level 1s, we're also running 2 copies of the Bridge of Emotions event. This gives the deck a bit more waiting room selectivity that doesn't cost any stock, hopefully giving you easier access to your important pieces that you don't already have. Additionally, since it can be used as a counter during the opponent's turn, it can be helpful to mill a couple cards if you're out all of your climaxes, but this card is more often than not going to be used during your own turn to grab whatever you need for the current situation. We also have 2 character backups in the deck, the Tae free refresh backup from the Premium Booster, and the Rimi minus Soul backup from 5th Anniversary. Either of these can be replaced for an anti-overlevel backup if the metagame calls for it, but in my opinion, these are the 2 most universally useful utility backups to use in this deck. We're also on 2 copies of the Buns for Luck Stock Swap event, which is one of BanG Dream's most important tools, and one that you should probably be running by default in any deck that doesn't already run the Sakiko changer due to the choice restriction list. This card's Stock Swap ability is one of the strongest cards in the game for fighting against well-compressed decks, and helps our endgame's lethality. We have 3 different early play healers in the deck, each with a different early play condition and secondary ability. The familiar face will be the Tae from 5th Anniversary, 6 or more climax in waiting room early play, on play discard 1 to heal to stock, and if you have 2 or more other traded characters on stage, she goes up to 11k power and gains on attack pay 3, discard 2 to burn 3. Alongside our Rimi level 3, these 2 make up the offensive core of our endgame. Lisa is our next early play, being a 2 or less climax early play with 8500 power going up to 10,500 for 1 turn rotation on play. When placed, you get to choose between either a top check 3 add 1 or a standard heal, with the top check 3 being especially useful to dig for Kasumi climaxes for her advantage combo. Our third early play of the deck is Saya, which is a 4 or more traded characters early play. On play, you can discard 1 heal to stock just like Tae, and during your turn, she gains 2500 power and on reverse memory kick. While Saya has the easiest to fulfill condition of the 3 early plays due to being 4 or more early play, her actual abilities are less impactful than the Lisa or Tae, which is why we only have her at 1 copy. That being said, she makes a great complement to either of the other 2 early plays if you find yourself needing to heal multiple times at level 2. In the mulligan, you will mainly want to look for the trio of early game advantage cards being Yukina, Tomoe, and Mashiro, as well as copies of the level 1 combo and Pants Climax. You'll always want to discard at least 1 character in your mulligan, not only to give yourself something to salvage off a triggered door climax, but also to potentially salvage off of the Tomoe level 0. Remember, if you have nothing in waiting room to salvage, you still have to discard a card for her effect. Notably, if you see a copy of the Tomoe level 0 in your hand before mulligan, and you recognize that your opponent's deck will be able to give you an easy reverse, you can discard cards that would otherwise be high priority keeps, such as the level 1 Sayo combo, knowing that you will be able to salvage it back with the Tomoe's effect. For your back row, you will want to establish at least 1 Brainstorm, with the other back row slot either being a second Brainstorm or Misaki level 0 support. Whenever possible, look to use Misaki's ability to marker the 2-1 Misaki from Waiting Room underneath her, as this will let her change into the 2-1 on future turns to give you a substantial offensive boost. The deck's mid-game strategy appears to be straightforward, but can require a bit of situational awareness in order to play optimally. Ideally, at level 1, you would simply use the Sayo combos to try to grab Kasumi level 2s to use once you level up, while milling down your deck to try and reach first refresh before going to level 2. Very standard stuff. However, not everything is going to line up that easily every game. Some games there won't be very many Kasumis left in your deck to actually grab off of your combo, or maybe you don't have a door climax to actually use with the Kasumis. For situations like this, you will want to remain flexible, leaving open the option to go for another turn of Sayo combo, using cards like Yukina JC or Brainstorms to get them back, and sometimes you will also want to simply play for deck state rather than selectivity, making it easier for you to cancel with the remaining climaxes in your deck. Assuming the cogs fall into place, you'll want to try to go for at least double Kasumi combo upon hitting level 2, if not triple. Similar to Tensura's Mjurran playstyle, you'll want to use the combo to grab healers to maintain yourself at level 2, climax swap to go for another turn of combo next turn, counters to keep your Kasumis around, or Remi to hold for finisher turn. Remi is especially important to prioritize if you can, since we're only running the one copy, and when choosing which early play healers to grab, you'll want to try to pick the ones that you'll actually be able to fulfill the early play condition for on your next turn. For example, there's no sense grabbing the Tae early play if you have 0 climaxes in waiting room at that time. That being said, due to Tae being part of the deck's finisher lineup as well, you will want to give a little bit higher priority to her if you see yourself being in a position to put her onto the board. Typically, the finisher board for this deck is just going to be a modest 1 Tae plus 1 Remi plus 3rd random lane. It's not the most insane finisher board, obviously, but it can certainly get the job done. Ideally, the deck will be able to create a wide lead at level 2 and then finish the job when the opponent is already sufficiently weakened. Also, be sure to keep an eye out for the Buns for Luck stock swap event, as it can be used to great effect against an opponent that has a ton of stock and a well-compressed deck. Color priority in this deck is very easy. Just prio blue for level 1, followed by red for everything else. If this version with no finisher combo isn't really for you, then you can absolutely just take our older version of the Anniversary deck with the Yukina and Kasumi 8-door combos and plug in some of the new utility options. In my opinion, the most impactful additions from the premium booster for that version of the deck will be the Tomoe level 0, Mashiro level 0, Tsugumi climax swap, and Tae free refresh counter. So those would be the ones I would prioritize putting on my shopping list if you just want a few quick touch-ups from the old version. Also, the anti-overlevel backup we used in our previous deck profile wasn't Anniversary trait, since one didn't even exist at the time. But now that we have a few of them in the premium booster, I would recommend adding in a copy of the Eve anti-overlevel backup. I picked this one specifically over the Mocha and Rui because it uses hand for its anti-overlevel cost rather than stock, and the Kasumi level 3 finisher doesn't need any extra cards in hand for its finisher cost. Additionally, you can consider swapping out the Lock stock swap for the new Maya stock swap, or you can even just put in the Buns for Luck event. If I remember correctly, our goal with the last Anniversary deck was to try and use as few old cards as possible, since they could be harder to obtain. But with Buns for Luck being reprinted in the recent Maigo Ave Musica booster set, it's extremely easy to get now. Either way, taking out the Lock stock swap would remove the deck's need to level green, but you would still want a few green cards in the deck to potentially get a bonus stock from the Aya Brainstorm, as well as maximize the utility of the Maya level 1. And that's going to do it for our BanG Dream 10th Anniversary deck profile. While Anniversary still isn't considered the optimal competitive way to play BanG Dream compared to the powerful Oblivionis-based builds, there are still a lot of fun and creative ways to play the Anniversary card pool. For example, I've been having a lot of fun with a Tomoe level 0 into Kasumi level 2 deck myself. Let us know down in the comments if you have any cool builds of Anniversary BanG Dream so that we can all share ideas. And be sure to like the video as well and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed our content. Coming up next on the channel will be a bunch of gameplay videos featuring not only this Sayo Kasumi deck, but also a bunch of mono ban decks featuring the latest power-ups. Until then, this has been Randall, aka Shizakats, on the Tressa's Collectibles channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!